The moon is quite interesting. It's been used as a means to keep track of time, it's responsible for tides, and there are a bunch of gods and goddesses in various cultures that represent the moon. Fun fact, January 25th, 2024, the Thursday of the week that this video is released, is a full moon, which is appropriate, as this week's video is on Moona Hoshinova. Moona's starting weapon, Crescent Moon, throws a crescent moon that spins around like a boomerang in front of her. Its effective area increases when you level it up, and at max level, it gains the ability where after you hit 5 targets with it, it creates a full moon that damages enemies. Because of how Moona's weapon fires, if you're smart with positioning, you can get several full moon blasts out of a single attack. And because the number of full moon blasts you can make in a single attack isn't predetermined like with a multi-shot weapon, the attacks do not divvy up damage in the same way that other multi-shot attacks do, meaning a single swing that creates 5 full moon blasts can pretty much quintuple Moona's damage output, making Moona's weapon arguably one of the best starting weapons in the game. Moona's first skill, Moona and Hoshinova, boosts Moona's damage by 60%, but if she is hit, she loses the damage buff and instead gains a defensive buff for 5 seconds, which reduces damage by 15%. Of all of her skills, it's frankly her least interesting skill, but the damage reduction is pretty powerful. Her second skill, Moon Song, creates a large orb every 10 seconds that sucks in enemies while also dealing damage to them. The skill is incredibly useful since the orb not only deals a massive amount of damage, an effective 300% per second, but it can also be used as an effective source of crowd control, as the skill can even hold boss enemies in place, allowing you to either get enemies off of you so you can get away, or hold a large target stationary so you can wail on them with your weapons. It's also affected by Nightly Milk, so you can always increase the area that enemies get sucked into if necessary. Her last skill, Lunar Construction, makes it so that enemies drop lunar blocks that Moona can pick up. When she picks up 5 of them, she creates a lunar rabbit which will walk towards the nearest enemy and explode, dealing damage. The explosion deals about 500 damage to enemies, which is insane when you compare it to the damage thresholds of other damaging skills. Most only go up to 300. The defeated enemies also charge her special meter for defeating targets, and you'll want to charge that special meter, because Moona's special attack is quite powerful. Moona's special attack, Moon Goddess, transforms Moona into her goddess form from High Tide, which creates an explosion that damages nearby enemies. She would then maintain this form for 12 seconds. The goddess is incredibly powerful, not only gaining a significant boost to her attack and speed, 100% for both, but her main attack becomes a big ass crescent slash that covers half of the screen and lingers for a short while. This attack gets any and all abilities and bonuses that her main weapon has, right down to the full moon blast. The biggest downside to her special attack is that while the goddess form is incredibly powerful, it doesn't always work as a panic button. As such, it's a special attack that should be used offensively rather than defensively. Since the attack for Moona's goddess form gains the same benefits that Moona's weapon does, boosting the weapon is quite essential, as not only will you be increasing her damage in her goddess form, but her starting weapon's moon explosion is also quite an effective damage multiplier. As such, Pika Pika Piman is generally a good choice, as it increases her starting weapon's damage by a significant margin. Her power in goddess form is also higher, so decreasing the downtime where you're not in goddess form is also a good plan for success, making Idol Costume another excellent item choice. For my last item recommendation, I would recommend Beetle. Moona has 2 skills that deal damage and both are very powerful, and with Beetle, they will only get stronger as Moona levels up. So, that's Moona. Thanks for watching. Please let me know who you would like to see next. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for future videos, and happy holocuring.